Creative Babble.
Hey guys, it's me, Javier. You're about to listen to the extended trailer for my new series dropping this Tuesday, titled Who's Afraid of LaDonna Humphrey? I've been working on this for a long time now, and I can't wait for you to listen to it. But I have to warn you, this trailer is very explicit, okay? So if you have kids in the room, or if you are at work, put on your headphones. Trust me. If you want to listen to the first episode, I am going to be dropping it as soon as it's ready on Pretend Plus, on Apple Podcasts, and Patreon. All right, here are the first 10 minutes of the first episode of Who's Afraid of LaDonna Humphrey.
When I was really young, I used to live in Oregon, in Portland, Oregon, and I had accepted this job as a personal assistant to a man who was a pornography producer.
It was 2010, and Alicia Lockhart was only 24 years old.
To my knowledge, when I accepted this position, his niche was clown pornography.
Clown? I don't know if it was the streaming. Did you say clown or...
Clown, like birthday party,
okay.
Like entertainment, children entertainment,
Wow.
Clown.
Typically, when I interview someone, I have a prepared list of questions. I have an idea of what the story's about. This was not the case when I interviewed Alicia Lockhart. The clown porn thing completely caught me off guard.
When I went for my job interview, there was a honest to God clown pornography being filmed in the background of my job interview to be this man's personal assistant. So it was it looked legitimate. It was weird.
But then again, Alicia Lockhart was a goth girl with neon green hair. The clown porn thing was weird, but she went along with it anyway.
You can see I'm kind of alternative or creative. I didn't bother me in that moment. I was like, okay, cool. This is an interesting kind of office work. I'll take it. But when I showed up for my first shift of work, he asked me if I would be comfortable starring in any of the movies that he made. And I told him no, that I didn't want to do that. A few days later, he did call me and said he had a really strange request. He had a strange request come in.
You see, the director wasn't just into clown pornography. He was also directing death fetish videos. Kind of like snuff films where someone is killed but no one really dies. These fake murder videos are as disgusting as you imagine. It's hard to imagine someone actually getting aroused by watching someone stabbed, drowned, or strangled to death.
He wanted a model who would just lay still on a morgue slab. And he said that he needed to do slow pans up and down of their body and that's all it would be. No touching, no other people, just lay there naked. So I was a little uncomfortable with it, but he was offering me $500 to do that. I was 22. It seemed easy. He said that nobody would ever see it. It was going on a CD in somebody's private collection.
There was no contract, no consent form, just his word. And Alicia, she just went along with it.
I showed up to the filming location maybe a week later, and it was actually his house, and he was wanting to film this in the basement of his house. He fed me lunch before we filmed.
Nothing fancy, just sandwiches and lemonade. Also, they weren't alone either. In fact, the director's girlfriend and son were in the room. She was a little nervous, and the kid was within earshot the whole time, so they avoided talking about this whole death fetish shoot that was about to happen. After lunch, they walked downstairs to the basement. First, he draws a line across her neck to make it seem like she was strangled. Then he pulled out a Ziploc bag.
And he had this Mickey Mouse watch in it. And he was like, I need you to put this watch on for me before we start filming. It's the most important part of the film, so put it on.
A Mickey Mouse watch? That's creepy.
And he reiterated that it was super important that the dead girl be wearing the Mickey Mouse watch in the video. So I put it on, and at this point, my memory changes pretty drastically. from being like a full-blown movie to being like I can barely grasp little moments from that point.
I've unfortunately watched the video.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah, I'm here. Oh, well, it looks like it's our guy.
The director was also the star of the video, and he played the part of a CSI investigator examining the crime scene.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah, I'm here. Oh, well, it looks like it's our guy.
Alicia is laying on the floor with her back propped on the sofa. Her head is tilted back, and her mouth and eyes were wide open. She's posing as a corpse. He eventually grabs Alicia's lifeless body, lifts her up, and carries her off screen.
I can get you down these stairs.
In the next scene, Alicia is laying on a platform of some sort. The director examines her entire body.
You just keep getting hotter and hotter.
I'm sorry for having to describe this in such great detail, but this next part is kind of important. The man slowly undresses Alicia. She's completely naked except for this Mickey Mouse watch. Maybe it's because she was instructed to keep her eyes open and fixed to one spot. Maybe it's the trauma of being exploited, or maybe it was something else, but Alicia says that she doesn't remember much about this day.
And obviously, this was not a comfortable or a normal experience for me anyways, so I kind of just felt like maybe I disassociated or something. Like, it was uncomfortable.
Severe bruising on the inner thighs.
But I just kind of had put that memory out of my mind. It was a really long time ago.
Like I said, it was 2010 and Alicia was just 24 years old.
And it happened to come back up into conversation in 2021 with my sister. And when I told her about this experience, she was like, this is super creepy. Why did they want a video of a dead girl with a Mickey Mouse watch? Where do you think that video wound up? Like, what? Do you know what it looked like? Did you ever watch it? So we had this conversation about it, and she ended up Googling Mickey Mouse watch plus murder.
And that's when they got a hit. There was a case out of Arkansas where a 21-year-old woman named Melissa Witt went missing. They found her body 6 weeks later.
And so when she did that Google search, Melissa Witt is what came up, because that is a detail about that case. Melissa Witt, her watch was taken from her body after she was murdered, and they've always kind of believed that the murderer might have kept it as a trophy. At this point, I was really creeped out. I didn't think that it was necessarily related, but it seemed random. Like, it just seemed like such a strange...
It's a detail.
Mm-hmm.
It's a detail that's very specific, right? Like the morgue thing, I could kind of understand, but the Mickey Mouse watch, that just seems very specific.
Right. And like, it could not be related at all. Could just be a coincidence, but I figured I will just let law enforcement decide that, because I figured they could probably find the guy I used to work for and talk to him about it.
Could this fetish porn director be linked to the Melissa Witt case? Does the Mickey Mouse watch have any significance? They thought maybe this information could be a new lead in this now 30-year-old cold case.
And so that's why I called in a tip. I really just expected that I would have a phone call with one or two people and that would be it. But the first person that I spoke with was LaDonna Humphrey.
LaDonna Humphrey. Remember that name, because she is very important to this story. Listen, I've tried to sum up this story quickly, an elevator pitch, and every time I fail. When my friends ask me, hey, what's this new series about? I'm lost for words, because there's just no simple way to tell this story in just a few minutes. So how can I tell it here, and where do I start? I'm about to retell the story the same way I learned about it, completely out of order. By the end of this thing, you're going to need a suspect board like the ones you see in the movies. I've conducted more than 20 interviews and counting. You're going to hear some pretty far-fetched allegations from a lot of different people. Actually, from complete strangers. None of these people I've spoken to have anything in common, except they cross paths with one particular woman. There's a lot of he said, she said in the story, and I'm going to do my best to prove and disprove every one of these claims. This series is going to be a long one. I can't even predict how many episodes it will be because it's unfolding as you're hearing this right now. Yeah, it's going to be one of those. But by the end of this series, hopefully I've done a good enough job for you to make up your own mind and find out why so many people are afraid of LaDonna Humphrey. I'm Javier Leiva, and this is Pretend. Stories about real people pretending to be someone else.
Creative Babble.